We'll go ahead and get started. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Creel. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right.
Seconded by Mr. Gray. All right, discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. We'll go ahead and call for the votes. Mr. Gray?
Gray, yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Marshall, yes.
Mr. Nail?
Nail, yes.
Mr. Creel?
Creel, yes.
Tisdale, yes.
All right, Mr. Shoemaker?
Shoemaker, yes.
And Glavin votes yes. Mayor's report? Council report?
None.
Mr. Marshall?
None.
Mr. Nail?
None.
Mr. Creel?
Well, no.
Mr. Tisdale?
Did I tell you how good a job that new CAO is doing? He's off to a great start.
Mr. Shoemaker?
That's it.
Shoemaker, no report.
All right, the only report I have, I just want to talk about this agenda a little bit. We're going to start out with non-departmental today. We have 4 new council members. We've been trying to review a lot of this information. We still have an incomplete, a total incomplete on the request. I think we're still waiting on a few to come in. This will be a review today. You have 4 minutes to talk on any topic that you want. You might be allowed a few extra seconds, but I got it here. I know some of you have had presentations that might be 10 minutes long, but we have to get through this, and I would ask that you abbreviate your presentation. This is not an approval of your budget request today. This is a review of your budget request today. We're up against the wall on making the square peg fit in the round hole. So we're going to take a long look at these when we try to wrap it up at our next meeting as far as non-departmental goes. But we're going to take a long, hard look. We'll try to be fair. We want to give as much money as possible, but we do have fiduciary responsibility to get this budget passed and to review all of these requests fairly. And that concludes my report. I'll start with citizens' comments. There's a total allotted time for 45 minutes. Are we using this time for the budget, the 4 minutes on this time? We're going to use the 3 minutes and 4 minutes. We're going to use 3 minutes for public comments or 4 minutes. Which one we're going to? Okay. If you are speaking on non-departmental budget, we'll go ahead and use this segment for the 4 minutes. If you're speaking on another topic, we'll use 3. All right, that sounds fair. All right, so I'll start on my left. Ms. Robin.
Robin David, Executive Director of the Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum. This is Brandon Boudreau. He has been selected as the new Executive Director. I will be retiring the end of September after 37 years. So this is the new leader of the Maritime Museum. First, I would like to thank Paul and Kenny and David for all of your past support over the last previous years to the museum. You have greatly supported the Maritime Museum. I would like to ask for the support of Mr. Marshall, Mr. Gray, Mr. Nail, and Mr. Creel for our continued support from the City Council for the museum. I think I've sent a letter to the mayor and to Mr. Weaver, and I CC'd all of y'all on the letter asking for the support, the same support we received in fiscal year 25. We're asking to receive again in 26. I think we went over in the letter how valuable our Sea and Sail Camp is to the children on the coast. We have Mississippi Power Foundation support that enables us to give scholarships for the last 2 years at least. We saw right at 400 children at camp this summer, which is fabulous, teaching them about our history and heritage here on the coast. We had our Billy Krill Memorial Wooden Boat Show again this year, named after Jamie's dad, which was very successful. We are still dealing with FEMA and MEMA over Hurricanes Ida and Zeta, still trying to get reimbursed, like probably most of the city is as well. We have asked for assistance have stepped in with some of our delegation. So we're hoping we're going to get this resolved before too many more hurricanes hit the coast and we cannot get reimbursed. Our Heritage Hall of Fame is coming up. I think we have an October 1 deadline. We would ask that anyone please nominate someone that you feel should be in our Heritage Hall of Fame. That is a very special event at the museum. And if you know of anybody, you can receive an application online or come to the museum. I'm going to turn it over to Brandon and let him speak as well.
I don't have much to say. I just want to say it's an honor to be here. I know taking over for Robin, I got a big job ahead of me, and I'm just looking forward to hopefully closely with every one of you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, many of them. My daddy was Edmund Boudreaux. He was
That's right.
basically the historian for the city of Biloxi, and I know he's smiling down.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud to be here and proud to be carrying on his legacy.
Thank you both.
Can I mention hey, Robin, congratulations on your retirement. Just so you know, your dedication to the museum is a huge testament to its success. And Brandon, although more than capable, has some big shoes to fill, so thank you.
Anyone else? My left? Your right?
Good afternoon. I'm Stacy Riley. I'm the CEO of Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence, and I want to say thank you for allowing us to come and present to you. Thank you for your support that you've given us for the number of years that we've been here, and congratulations to our new city council members. I hope that those of you who are new to the council know the importance that the Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence plays a role in the city of Biloxi, and if you have any information that you need from me about the work that we do here, I'm always willing to tell a good story. We have been in the city of Biloxi for over 45 years providing shelter to individuals who are escaping domestic violence situations, adults, children, males, females, and then in the last several years, we have extended our shelter services to providing services to those who are fleeing human trafficking. And sent out some information to you guys for the request, because we were requesting a total of $40,000, $20,000 for our shelter facility and $20,000 for our public location that's located on Porter Avenue. Our shelter facility in 2024, we provided 338 adults and kids with shelter at our domestic violence shelter program. I want to highlight the importance of that number. For the entire year of 2024, we served 338 people from the city of Biloxi in shelter. So far this year, we've served 364 city of Biloxi residents in our domestic violence shelter program. That highlights just how greater those numbers are getting. Our numbers are not going down, they're always going up. We are always at our past capacity of our shelter. We have 44 beds at our shelter in Biloxi. Any given day, we have between 45 and 55 adults and kids in the shelter program. So we use couches, we use cots, we use whatever we possibly can use to have a safe space for people who are escaping a violent home. Right now, we have 43 people in shelter here in Biloxi. 30 of those are adults and 13 are children. And we have served so far in our shelter this year, we have had 233 adults and 167 children. Now, we've served a lot of people, but we also provide a lot of services. Our goal as an agency is to be comprehensive and also to make sure that we can provide as much services and as much hope as people need to advocate for themselves and move themselves from the trauma of domestic violence and human trafficking. In shelter here in Biloxi, we do provide shelter, our therapeutic preschool program, counseling services, case management, a little bit of everything that needs people have to connect themselves to to that hope of getting past the abuse, but also at our public location here in Biloxi on Porter Avenue, that's where all of our housing programs. We have 5 housing program case managers to get people into a place to live that we pay their living expenses. So right now, between 60 and 70 families are living along the Gulf Coast that we're paying their living expenses for. Our sexual assault program is located here on the Porter Avenue location. That's where our advocates are to provide services to sexual assault victims, counseling. That's where our human trafficking program is located at for non-residential services. So we make sure that we can provide that variety of services. And in addition to that, we do have a legal clinic that does civil legal services at no charge. Now, none of the services we provide as an agency is offered for a charge except for our batterers program, and the money that we collect from those who have been arrested for domestic violence goes back into our victim services. So just kind of give you a little bit of context as the reason why we asked for the amount of money we asked for. Our budget as an agency is about $5 million a year, and we're tasked with coming with $1 million of that that's not federal or state grants. It's about local money, it's foundations, it's a little bit of everything. So the money that we get from the city of Biloxi and our other municipalities helps us to keep the lights on. That's my spiel. Thank you for allowing us to come here. And Mr. Gray, we're in our shelter and our public location are located in Ward 1. We're glad to be here, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Anyone else? My left?
I know most of the councilmen. I'm the one of the Biloxi board members on the CPA board, and I wanted to introduce our new executive director who started 2 weeks ago, Jeanette Barrios, and she's going to do a brief presentation.
Good afternoon, Councilman. Very honored to be here today, and thank you so much. I'm coming from Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, and I'm very honored to be here representing Coast Transit Authority. Coast Transit Authority was organized in '73. It launched in '75 here, not only in the city of Biloxi, but it is more or less a regional transit system and public transit. It is not private. Currently, Coast Transit Authority is moving 775,000 people annually. That is its ridership across the board. For the city of Biloxi, right now, we are moving 326,350 riders annually, and we're projected to move 342,631 come 2026. But in addition to that, and aside from fueling the business corridor, the city of Biloxi, which is the primary, if you knows, across the system for transit, public transit, the majority of the people that utilize transit are typically people that do not have the ability or the funds to buy a car, pay for insurance, who are also making, minimum wage and so forth. And they're the ones that are fueling, the economy as far as getting to work at those Walmarts, your casinos in the area, libraries, you name it, your grocery stores and so forth, your schools and so forth. Coast Transit Authority right now, as I understand it, to date, comes to you on a yearly schedule to request a subsidy to support its services to your constituents. So this year we purchased 4 trolleys. As you can see, there were 1.2 million. The city, Coast Transit does generate internal revenue from advertising sales in bus benches, bus shelters, and also wrapping the vehicles themselves with advertisement, as well as fare revenue from the fare boxes, which right now is $1.50. So, as you can see, we, as Coast Transit Authority, went ahead and brought 2 and matched that from its own operating budget of $240,000. It has 3 routes in Biloxi. It has Route 34, it has the CTA route Beachcomber, which goes up and down that beach, and it has your route, which is the Casino Hopper, Biloxi, which is coming every 20 minutes. In addition to that, right now, for your bus revenue service hour for your bus for fixed route, we call it bus transportation, right now it's sitting at $82 an hour. And we calculate that based on the salaries that we pay our operators, fuel, preventative maintenance, and vehicle insurance, which is a heavy lift. For every person that hits the back of a bus, we have to put aside about $60,000. Okay? Passengers per hour right now for the city of Biloxi stands at 9. And as you can see on page 10, again, going back to what I said a little earlier, your casino, as you can see, your work relation, we actually have people out there on the field talking to your constituents. This is not something, we put on a website. We're approaching them. Casino is 43%. That means my time. Sorry.
Well, listen, because of the nature of library system, CTA, one of our biggest budgeted items, we'll give you another minute.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, I do want to explain, I know we have 4 new councilmen on the board, is we receive, Coast Transit Authority receives, as you can see on the last page, federal funding from the Federal Transit Administration. All public agencies across the United States do. What I will tell you is this. Let's say, and I have an example here, that we have $12 million federal assistance available. That money to us, although we need it desperately, is of no good to us if we don't have the 20% match. In other words, if we don't generate that internal revenue to be able to utilize those grants, we lose them. So although the FDA awards us these funds, sometimes we fall short. We generated $3.7 million last year in both our internal revenue and subsidy. And when you're sitting on 12, say 13 million of federal funds and you have a $3.7 million match, that's all we have to work with. That's to buy vehicles, that is to PMs, that is for fuel, that is for salaries, that is for everything in vehicle insurance and so forth. Keep in mind, hurricane season, Katrina, God forbid that happens again. Coast Transit Authority is here to also help with evacuations during hurricanes, any emergency for that matter. If you need a cooling station due to a large fire, you can call us. We'll send a bus out to cool firefighters for events, everything. So we're vital, vein to this community, to the city, and to the region, and we need that support. I do look forward to hopefully be able to reach out to each one of you individually to talk a little bit about more public transit and maybe look at other avenues of funding Coast Transit Authority in the future. Are there any questions?
Nope, thank you. All right.
My name is Patrick Chubb. This is what we provide as a citizen. Let's see. I'm asking.
Did I go
You got
all the way through?
Patrick Chubb, married to a Terwilliger, Harrison County Soil and Water Conservation District, and we are asking for the same amount of money that we did last year, $5,000, to serve agricultural and environmental education conservation materials to the citizens of Biloxi.
Okay.
Any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else on my left? Your right. Go to the other side of the room, my right, your left.
There we go.
It's on now?
It's on.
Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you guys. I'm Jerry Monroe. I'm with the Boom Boom Committee. We started doing this back in 1978. We've been carrying it on ever since. Well, this past year, we asked for $12,500, which y'all graciously gave us, and we're coming back to asking y'all for $15,000 this year. Fireworks are going up 35% to us this coming year, so everything's going up. So we're just trying to ask you guys to please help us out. It's a beautiful thing we do. 4th of July, everybody goes out, rafts up, goes to the beaches and watches a beautiful fireworks show for 20 minutes to patriotic music. It's something my father started, and I've continued it on with our cadre of a small group of folks. All the money that we raise goes into the fireworks. This last year, we raised $43,000, and our fireworks budget was $46,000. So we had to dip into our savings we had to pay the difference for the barge and some chairs and tents for our folks to come down and watch. But yeah, the sponsors who gave it, and we gave invitations to you guys as well. So just would like to keep this going. I think it's a beautiful thing for Biloxi. The Gulf Coast is very patriotic, and we appreciate all the support, Mayor, y'all have given us, and all you gentlemen. Welcome to being on the council. I have not met all you fellas, but I do know Jamie, and I look forward to meeting you, Mr. Nell, Mr. Marshall, Mr. Gray. And that's what I'm here for, Boom Boom Committee for this coming year. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Monroe.
Any questions?
Not yet.
All right. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Come on up.
Good afternoon, Councilman and Administration. I am Sarah Chrysler-Ruski. I'm the Director of the Harrison County Library System, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about our request. And I wanted to start very briefly with since we have so many new people, to explain what we are and how we work, because it's different from state to state, and you may not know, we're a political subdivision like a city or a county, but we do not have taxing authority. So we go to our cities and our county to request the funds that we need to operate. We have requested in the past, and you hopefully got our letter and our information package this year as well. We have requested over the years that we be placed on a millage basis, because we feel like this would be a more appropriate way to fund a service as large as a library. It is authorized by state code already. The city can give up to 3 mills. In a city like Biloxi, 3 mills would be wonderful, but overkill. I believe your mill is around $7.90, so it would be something around 1.1 mil is what we're asking. So for this year, we have asked all our funders for a 3% increase. That is due to cost of everything going up, PERS has gone up, books are more expensive. We are trying to give our staff a 3% raise. We have 25 employees in our 4 Biloxi libraries, and 72%, or 18 of them, make under $13 an hour. 52% make under $12 an hour. None of them, including all of our managers and people with 20 years experience, master's degree, whatever, none of them make over $19 an hour in all of our libraries, all 25 folks. So we feel like a small raise would be much appreciated, and I know y'all are trying to do the best you can for your staff as well, and so that is it's part of our strategic plan. That's another part of our request, is that we did a strategic plan last year, and our materials, that would be books or any sort of items that check out, is 46% below what it was in 2005, so we're trying to slowly build that up, because the patrons, more we have for them to utilize, the more materials, the more items that they have to use, the more they want to use it, and they get more bang for their buck when we have more to provide them. So that is why we were asking for a 3% increase from all of our funders. And just to finish out, just a few little items, you may not kind of have an idea of how busy we are, because a lot of people are like, oh, libraries, why do we need them? So just a quick recap of some of our numbers from the last fiscal year. We had over 250,000 people come through our 9 branches, so there are 9 throughout the county in our various cities. We checked out over 440,000 items, and that was an increase in both of those from the year before. We had around 2,000 programs, and the bulk of those are for children, summer reading, story times, things like that, but we also have added a lot of new programs this year. Our managers, most of you met our new Wool Market manager. They're just adding programs. We had over 42,000 people attended those programs. We also reached over 8,000 people with our mobile branch. You may not have encountered, if you've been to First Fridays, our mobile vehicle is usually there. So we served over 8,000 people. Also, we go to the Boys and Girls Club, to some of the low-income housing establishments and the Armed Forces Retirement Center, so all over the county to people who can't get to us. We had over 92,000 computer sessions, and so we think it's a good value for your investment, and thank you. I would love to answer any questions.
We'll get that further down when it comes up in the subject matter, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Am I right? Come on, Woody. That's okay. You're next, Woody.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. My name is Cynthia Chauvin, and I'm the director of the CASA program here in South Mississippi. We provide court-appointed special advocate volunteers to serve children who are innocent victims of child abuse and neglect. Today in Harrison County, 250 children, to be exact, are in foster care. I wish I could tell you that every one of them had a CASA volunteer. At this point, we are able to serve about 50% of the kids in foster care. The city of Biloxi has been a supporter of our work. Our request for consideration is to remain the same, even level of funding that we had last year. And for the new folks, I really wanted to talk a little bit and unpack what CASA volunteers do, because we are a very unique organization as a nonprofit. The body of our work starts and ends with your youth court. So here in Harrison County, our youth court judge is Judge Michael Dickinson. He is charged with determining what needs to happen for children and families so that they can be reunited when, due to CPS involvement, they become involved with the court system. That work is incredibly important work, and most often, the biggest folks who help him make these decisions are children who are innocent victims of these crimes that their family have perpetrated against them. CASA is judicially appointed by using community volunteers, but judicially appointed by the youth court judge. So the service that we provide can only come via judicial court appointment. Like I said, there are 250 children in foster care in Harrison County alone, with the largest percentage of those child victims being under the age of 12 years old, and with the majority of those children being abused or neglected in Gulfport, second to Biloxi. So that means that we have a social problem as we sit here for the last few hours thinking about a lot of social problems that struggle and people, but those struggles are people. They're people's struggles. And what we know about child abuse and neglect is that it's a generational social problem. Not saying that people who have been victims of child abuse are going to repeat that cycle, but we know that without interventions, the risk factors are more increased, that young people are going to repeat the cycle. I will tell you that the work that we do and the funds that you all have supported us in the past have helped us to recruit an incredible amount of CASA volunteers. This year alone, we have trained 36 volunteers with a goal of having 46 trained by the end of this year. We have, just last weekend, we spent 30 hours at the Hancock Whitney Bank on Howard, training new volunteers, 11 of them, to help us serve more kids from the city of Biloxi. In terms of volunteers, one of my CASA advocates, a retired teacher from the school district, having 34 total years of service, Ms. Diane Rush, who's here with me in the back, having had the perspective of teaching little people and actually teenagers, then in retirement, finding CASA as a way to be able to help these kids from a really tough situation. I will tell you that our volunteers who do this, they go through a comprehensive background check. This is not volunteerism that takes one day or 1 week. These volunteers work with one family at a time with the goal of helping the judge make the best call on these cases. They are complicated cases. 70% of our families are somehow connected to addiction and heavy substance abuse. And the judge is charged with figuring out what to do with these families to keep these kids with family of origin. This year, at this point, 95% of the recommendations that my volunteers have made, not just in Harrison, but in Hancock and Stone County, have become court-ordered services. I want to thank y'all for your support, and I want to let you know that with over 120 kids left to serve, our work is not done.
Thank you. Woody?
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Woody Bailey, Executive Director of Cruising the Coast. We had a great year last year. I appreciate y'all's support. We had 9,961 vehicles that registered from 44 states, Canada, England, and New Zealand. Of that number, over 1,600 were first-timers. So this is going to be our 29th year of Cruising the Coast, but last year, that number is really important because we have that many people that are coming to the event that have never been here before. So we're really happy about that and like keeping up with that number. Also last year, for the 6th year in a row, we were voted the #1 car show in the country by USA Today. So that's a great award, I think, for all the people of Gulf Coast. Everybody here makes everyone feel welcome, and I think that's a big part of the success of Cruising the Coast. So we're happy to get that award, but it's really an award, like I say, for the people of the coast. This year, the event is October the 5th through the 12th. Like I say, our 29th year. We already have 8,439 registered vehicles from 41 states, Canada, and Australia. The oldest vehicle right now is a 1913 Cadillac that's registered at the event. So in Biloxi, we host 7 events during Cruising the Coast. The Biloxi Block Party, of course, here on Wednesday, the swap meet and auction at the Coliseum, the 3-day venue at Edgewater Mall. We have cruise-ins at Margaritaville and Beau Rivage, and then we have our car corral at Treasure Bay. So we've got a lot of activities going on in Biloxi, more so than any other city. And we, as you know now, all 12 cities along the Gulf Coast are involved in Cruising the Coast. So we're happy about that. We've got everybody on board. So we're looking forward, like I say, to another great event this year, our 29th this year, and we roll into the 30th next year. So we would appreciate y'all's support of our request. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. All right. Raise your hand to be recognized.
Good afternoon. My name is Bobby Gillen. I'm here on behalf of the Greater Biloxi Economic Development Foundation. As some of you know, we've been around and partnered with the city on a number of things throughout the past couple of years. And what we're requesting this year is to partner with the city as well as Mississippi Power Foundation to launch a new facade grant program that we're looking at focusing on the Pass Road corridor, not just west of Keesler, but also east of Keesler. With our new gate coming out Division and a lot of attention headed that way, we want to step up and create a partnership and a framework to work with the city and other economic development entities and folks that are seeing the future and the growth, and be able to offer something to our property owners and business owners to incentivize them to spruce up the facades of their properties along Pass Road and Division. And from that, we'd also like to just continue this partnership as we grow with the city and fill gaps to be able to provide services and things that come up throughout the year in your awards. We help fund those last mile of a number of different projects. Folks come to us when they've created an event or an organization, and they get community support, they get a number of businesses supporting them, and they need that last couple of bucks. So typically we step in and make sure that groups like the skate park group underneath I-110. We work with them from time to time where there's a good idea, but they need the last little bit of money and they need a good partner. We can step in. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Ken Payne. I'm the administrator for the motor vehicle for hire. You all already know what I do. I'm the administrator for the regulatory oversight that was born out of an interlocal agreement between the cities of Gulfport, Biloxi, and D'Iberville. What we do is, it's on the screen. I'm just not close to it. How about that? Sir. We do regulatory oversight on the taxis and car services and some small shuttle buses here on the coast. When I say buses, it's vans. We make sure that they stay permitted for each driver, for each company, and for each vehicle that's on the road currently. We require background checks for each driver, drug screens annually, and driving reports annually. Currently, we have 13 companies with one pending permit. I have 118 active driver permits. Currently, I have 85 cabs that are currently permitted, and so far up to today, we've had 11 different people that have required the serious, I guess you would say, punishment of either having their permits denied and or revoked.
Bless you.
Bless you.
That's all I have, gentlemen.
Was that David? Was that David who did it?
Was that a motion? Do we need a second?
Continue, sir. Yeah. Are you finished? Okay, thank you for your time. Anybody else on my right? Anybody on my left I may have missed? All right, public comments is now closed. You'll get another shot at this in a minute. We're going to go into our policy agenda. Go ahead, for formality, go ahead and read the subject matter into the record.
Subject matter is to discuss fiscal year 25-26 municipal budget, non-departmental and for related purposes.
All right, what the chair would like to do is start with the big ticket items first. We'll start with the highest request, and then we'll continue a little bit to drill down for some questions and some give and take up here. So it looks like the library system has the biggest request. So we'll go ahead and start with the library. All right, and who wants to go first? I'm not going to put anybody on the spot.
Me.
All right, Mr. Tisdale.
Yeah. Thank you. You're here annually, bless your heart. And for those of you who aren't aware, I'm a big supporter of the library. How many libraries, Sarah, are there in Biloxi?
There are 4 in Biloxi.
Therefore, there's the one on Howard Avenue, there's the one on Pass Road, the West Biloxi Library, there's one at the Margaret Sherry Curve on the Pops Ferry Road.
Market.
And then we'll market.
I'm sorry.
And then the one in Wool Market, okay. And you're asking for an increase this year, and you said how many employees work at the Biloxi Libraries?
25 in Biloxi.
25, and you're asking for a 3% increase?
Yes.
And that would go towards, if you could be you have a moment here, so if you'd be a little more explicit in breaking down what that additional money would be for.
So the bulk would be for a 3% increase for our staff. Like I mentioned, I know y'all recently moved to $15 as your low point.
Right.
Our low point is still 11. And so, like I mentioned, 72% of those 25 are making $12. 52% make under 13. And no one makes over 19. Including all managers. And we have a local history librarian, and we have a couple people who've been with us for over 20 years. They're not making.
All right, and people leave to take other jobs. You lost a good one who came to the city of Biloxi, and now she's moving up the ladder. She's moving on to bigger and better things, so.
We do have a hard time with that, and I know y'all understand that. And one of the hardest things for us to retain is our youth services librarian. So that would be the people who are doing the story times. which is part of our, the core of our mission is to promote early literacy, because when you have kids, families who connect with books, you have fewer problems for Chief Miller and things like that down the line. And so if we aren't able to get quality folks to do that work, then we're not able to do our job as well as we would like. And when you have turnover, then the family, it makes you lose some of the families while you're working on hiring the new person. And it's just, you want to be consistent and have those programs, quality programs consistently for them.
Is technology still a challenge? I know one year it was PCs, and I would have, like you said, yeah.
Working on that again. We've been trying very hard to put any, if we have any piece of extra, we try to put it, we want to put this aside for computers. Like we're now, the ones we bought the first time I came to talk to you about them 7 years ago, well, we're still using those computers that we bought at that point. So, Windows 11 and all that stuff. So, yes, always a challenge.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
I got a couple questions, if you don't mind, Jamie. You mentioned the millage model.
Yes.
Where have you seen that at, the millage model?
Well, it is, let me see if I can cite you the exact code. I believe it's 3937 in the Mississippi Code, authorizes municipalities to give libraries up to 3 mills, and then there's another code that allows counties to give up to 4 mills to support them. And we prefer this model because it helps us be able to grow as the city grows. I think I mentioned in my letter, but I'm not sure, but I'll just say it again. In 2005, the library received $785,000, and so this is 3% over 20 years ago. So y'all have been generous in the recent years, but we've missed out on 20 years of growth by being pretty much flat year after year.
And I don't know the answers to these, and I don't know if you do, so I'm going to ask the millage. I want to stay on the millage a little bit. On the millage program, does the millage cover anything else, like building repairs, capital projects, insurance, anything of that nature?
If you wanted to put all of library expenses into millage instead of having us in non-departmental, or I think you have that in a different place rather than in non-departmental. But I think you would have to work with Diana on where to set the millage. But yes, it could be used for those expenses.
It could be used for that. So my question is this: the repairs that we did. So I know we replaced an air conditioning unit, we repaired roofs. That's not included in any of this, and we spent a couple $100,000 or more.
Yes.
Something of that nature. I just want to we got new council members up here, I just want to give them some background. I love the libraries as well. Gulfport has how many libraries? So Gulfport, 72,000 people, they have 2 libraries. Biloxi, 49,000, we have 4. That's a lot of libraries to take care of, but that's where we are today. Okay. So the 25,000 additional, I notice on here, in addition to the 805,000, 460,000, 25,000 is the same as last year. What is that expense for?
That is not part of my.
That's not in your purview. What is the other 25,000 for? That's other library expenses in non-departmental.
518.
That is for repairs that we may have, because we own the buildings.
Understood. So that we've got a small amount there. If we go over and above, we just go over and above.
We will come back before the council with a resolution to ask for additional money if we go over that.
Knowing that we spent over 200,000 last year, and this says 25,000, we didn't adjust that. We just took it from the general fund potentially.
that 200,000 the year before last, and it was mainly because of the air conditioner unit and the carpet at the West Biloxi Library.
Okay,
Yes.
just trying to,
We are also going to move this 25,000 out of non-departmental and put it back into Public Works. I just haven't gotten that far.
I would say that as part of your future planning, that, our buildings are either, they're post-Katrina, so they're reaching end of life for things like roofs and air conditioners and things like that. West Biloxi is much older. Margaret Sherry is building as well. And Wool Market is new, because y'all just did that
Right.
about 7 years ago.
the insurance cost to cover the insurance on the buildings, that's our cost, or that's the library's cost?
Building is on you and the contents are on us.
And the taxes, or we don't pay any taxes, tax exempt? Okay. All right, now, as far as the program for children and all this kind of stuff, I don't want to, I got to ask the question. So there was controversy on displaying rainbow children books or whatever. Or have y'all stopped that, or do y'all continue to display those? I don't have a problem with the books being available per se, but are y'all still actively displaying those?
I think the rainbow, when we talked about that the particular display that was being discussed, it was about a child who was sick, and it really actually wasn't a controversial thing. It
was controversial, it was, in my interpretation.
Okay, well, the one that I'm remembering as far as it was a kid's display, all of our displays go through, we implemented a process now, and so if there is something controversial, it has to come before me, and
So two little boys kissing each other wouldn't be something you'd necessarily display?
That would have to come to me, yes.
And you wouldn't advocate that and display that, would you?
I think that display probably would be one that I would recommend against, yes.
Okay, look, we have a responsibility to our constituents who support certain things, and
We try to make our displays, let's say, whatever level of raciness or whatever, that it needs to be accessible for any of our, that's where we are.
Accessible for what? I didn't hear.
Of our patrons, like where you might have a PG or PG-13 or R.
So any books available to check out, my question was, are you actively displaying it when other children or families may be walking through with their family, and all of a sudden it strikes the curiosity of someone, and now you have to explain something?
I don't think
it becomes awkward.
I don't think we've had any displays that would cause a person.
You have. We've had meetings, and
I mean, after we had these interactions, we instituted a policy. I don't think that we've had any.
That's the reason I'm questioning, to make sure that that's covered.
Any complaints?
Okay.
If I may.
Sure.
Thank you, appreciate that. Just to be clear, if there's an issue, if there's ever a question about the appropriateness of displays or books in the library, there is a process.
Yes.
All somebody has to do, whether you're a parent or a council person or a visitor to the city, is just ask the librarian to get in touch with you or submit something in writing to you. My point being, there's a process. You follow the process and you make a decision, right? And that board is, you have a board that you answer to.
Yes, we form a committee, we review the item, and if whatever the committee decides, I can appeal to.
Sure, and
you think not, topics.
Right.
A couple of years.
I've not had a complaint or concern since
But we do like people to
the
come.
last 2 years or whatever. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale, for that input. It is a question I continuously get, whether it's, just from the controversy that occurred. I have constituents that want assurances that we're not going to make a U-turn and go back to those policies. Gulfport, they have two libraries. They've had two libraries for a long, long time, but why hasn't there been a need to add additional libraries with their population being as large as it is? Why have, I'm just curious if you know the answer to that.
I think there should be one in, say, Bayou View, because that's a very populous area with lots of families,
But is it money? I mean, is it?
yeah, new library costs a fair amount to build these days.
Okay, so you think there's a need, it's just maybe that it's because of money?
Personally, I think there is. We haven't had any formal discussions on the topic, but I do think that a more centrally located library would be well used.
Okay, these are designated county libraries. In fact, it's the Harrison County Library System.
We're a political subdivision that's independent from the county, so.
Yeah, but on the
city-county system is what the.
But the sign, when somebody goes to Howard Avenue, does it say this is does it have signage, Biloxi Library, or is it the Harrison County Library System?
Library system, but it depends on, it kind of depends on the library. I'm trying to picture the Woolmarket sign in my head, and I think it says Harrison County, it may say both, because.
Okay. How much does the county, I'm going to focus on the 4 libraries in Biloxi, how much are they contributing?
How much, say
How
that
much are they contributing to the budget this coming year?
The county?
The county.
County's total is, well, I don't know how much they're going to contribute, but last year they contributed $1,076,000, and that we don't necessarily divvy that up. You know, we don't.
No, I understand. I just attended State of the County. Their president gave a wonderful speech, but he said they got a $50 million surplus for the county. So that might be, some of that 50 million might be something that can take up the slack.
For a 3% increase from them as well, because they fund the headquarters as well as the. Because, for example, for Biloxi, the total cost for the 4 libraries for our operational standpoint is around it's $1,050,000, and so we do have to have supplemental money from them, and the state gives us about $200,000, so it does cost more than what we ask to run.
Right. Well, I wish we had a $50 million surplus and we could solve a lot of issues, right, Mayor? But I don't think, Councilman, y'all seen a $50 million surplus in the budget? I haven't seen that. All right, you've answered a lot of questions, and I'll yield to Mr. Creel.
Just a couple questions real quick. So your employees, are they county, city employees?
Our employees, like we are a freestanding institution.
So as far as benefits, health insurance?
We get the same as the teachers. We are able to access that state health insurance.
Okay.
And PERS. They pay in, so out of their $11 an hour, they're paying 9% into PERS. And we're paying, it is now 18, 19.
Wow, okay.
Ever increasing every year. So yes, they have the benefits. They have those. We aren't able, because we don't have stable funding, or what I would consider stable funding, we don't have things like education bonuses that you have, or longevity, or we don't even have a guaranteed step system, because we can't say that we're going to budget this when we might be flat for 5 years from everybody. So we don't have those kind of benefits. But
so with your PERS, are they on the new PERS with the 35?
The new people will be.
The new people will be, okay. All right, and another question is security. Is that provided by the county or under the library?
Security guard at downtown Gulfport that is paid for out of the funds that they give us. We had one in Biloxi briefly. I don't remember if that was 2020, but we don't have any.
You don't have any security at your libraries?
Cut a person because they get paid a lot more than my staff do.
Okay.
Cut a person.
Have you had any incidents or?
Yes, we have had incidents where the police have had to be called, and some that are just annoying. We deal with the public, so that is part of, unfortunately, part of dealing with the public is having people act like them to sometimes. But the police have been very helpful with things like patrolling the parking lot after hours to make sure people aren't sleeping on the back steps, and coming when there's been, recently most of the incidents have been more things like someone's non-responsive and we're concerned that they have overdosed or something like that.
Perfect, thank you.
Now, we have 4 libraries. So are you over all the libraries in Harrison County? So Long Beach?
Beach is an independent municipal library that is part of the city. They did not join the system when it started. It kind of started in the 70s, and then in the 90s, a contract was worked out between the current cities, but they chose not to. So they are city employees.
So how much money does Gulfport give you?
Last year, they gave 516. We're asking for a 3% increase from them. We are also asking to be on millage with them, and we're hoping that they will do that because same with y'all, we have lost, we were getting more before Katrina from Gulfport, and we've been trying to slowly build back up with them as well.
So what's it cost y'all to operate?
The Gulfport libraries?
No, the Biloxi and Gulfport.
So
A year.
He's $1,050,000, and if you'll give me just a second, I can look up what Gulfport costs. I don't recall off the top of my head. Theirs is about $790,000.
How much?
$790,000.
So between what Harrison County is giving you and we're giving you, y'all should have more than enough than what y'all asking for. I mean, 800 and some thousand's a lot. And I know you want to give your employees raises. So does the city of Biloxi. So if we don't cut stuff, our employees can't get a raise eventually also. And I'm not saying your employees don't need raises, but I mean, with us going up 2%, or 2.5%, what you're asking for, I mean, it's a lot when our own employees need a raise.
I think that was a flaw in the legislation that was passed, I guess, back in the 80s, is that libraries were set up, I think, to be more independent. We were set up separately, so we're always seen as sort of like in opposition to the city needs. And, I understand that, but it's unfortunate because we're a service and amenity like parks and things like that. I feel like we are in that same category, but for whatever their wisdom was back in the day, they put us in a separate category without giving us the ability to fund ourselves. We can't, in some states, we could pass a millage like the schools can, but not here. So yes, I understand what you're saying. You would rather cut us than not be able to give your city employees.
Right, so.
I understand what you're saying, but.
The city of Biloxi owns all 4 libraries.
Yes, we are not allowed to own real estate as part of the.
Right, and we pay the insurance and the maintenance on all the buildings.
Yes, because we don't own them, we can't insure them.
Right, okay, that's all I have.
What? Doesn't the county own Margaret Sherry? And then we just pay the maintenance and isn't that the library at Margaret Sherry, isn't that a county building? We own the building? But the county just, what do they did the walking track. They don't have any obligations out there? No? Right.
Okay. Mr. Gray, you still have the floor?
I'm done.
You good? Mr. Tisdale?
Would you be amenable to a gentleman's agreement or gentlewoman's agreement, as the case may be, to reduce your request to the equivalent of what a mill equals today, which would be, Diane, what about $7.93? And then in future years, for the next several years, maintain that 1 mil equivalent, whatever that might be. So you wouldn't get the 3% you're asking for this year.
Over time.
But it would be more stable over time. Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, we could definitely.
You could live with that. Okay. It's just food for thought. Thank you. I'm sorry, Dana, what'd you say it was, 70?
No, you're good.
73, thank
You're
you.
good? Mr. Marshall, you good? Mr. Shoemaker? He's out?
Like a light.
He's at the library, no. Okay, that's been helpful. Thank you as always.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let's move to Transit Authority, I guess would be next. You ready? You sure? All right. Mr. Tisdale, go ahead and kick it off.
Well, let me find my place.
CTA.
All right, CTA. And this is the equivalent of about a 5% increase?
Yes, sir, approximately $21,000.
Okay, you had mentioned something, we were talking earlier, and you had mentioned about the fare increases, and there are pros and cons about a fare increase, correct?
Yes,
Would
Councilor.
you spend some time on that, please? Because the meeting started and I didn't hear all of it.
I'll be brief. So transit, public transit, I know it's going to be a little hard to kind of wrap this, but is always working at a deficit. That's something everyone needs to understand. It's just the way we roll, literally. So FTA, Federal Transit, and the state, Mississippi, we get federal funds every year. There's a formula based on our ridership, okay? And that's the end game for us in public transit. More ridership, more money, okay? So what happens when you increase fare is that you think you're going to be bringing in more money, but it does exactly the opposite. Because remember who your market base is here. You're talking about people, working class people, you know, that are going every day to work with their kids in hand. They're going to those, you know, typically minimum wage jobs, you know, casinos, Walmarts, grocery stores, cleaning houses. Maybe it's your maid, maybe it's your, you know, plumber, whoever it may be. Kids from school, universities. You know, these are people that literally keep our economy rolling. And you feel it. We felt it during COVID. I know we all felt it when all that went away. And so what happens when you increase fare is that ridership will fall, and it did. It was increased by 25 cents, but for a family of maybe however many people they have, it can mean something. You know, it can really mean something. So what happens with that when you increase fare, thinking, well, why don't you increase your fare? You bring in more money. You can ask a little less this year. Well, it doesn't work that way with transit. So unfortunately, that's what happened. They increased the fare and the ridership dropped. So people now are buying the monthly pass, right? Because it costs less than having to pay a one-way fare of $1.50. And that's why we say in transit, when you decrease your fare, it's actually a good thing because you make it up in the back end. You make it up in ridership. So when I upload all my ridership data into the national transit data, into trams that we call in transit, goes to the federal level, my ridership now is going up. And so when that formula comes down at the beginning of the year, 5307, FTA 5307, now we're getting more money. So, example, Shreveport, Louisiana, a peer of mine got rid of fares altogether. I know that's hard to grasp, I get it. In Europe, they're doing it. They have a lot of support. Here in some states in the United States are starting to do it because it takes away from that discriminatory veil that lives and stigmatizes public transit. I don't want to get on a bus because I know what I'm going to find on that bus for $1.50, right? We don't want that bus in our neighborhood. That's typically the way we perceive transit. But when you take away that fare free now, and for some reason something in our heads tells us it's okay, it's free. And so he removed that colleague of mine fare altogether, and his ridership increased by 35%. 35%. So he ended up bringing in an additional $4.4 million in federal revenue. That's a game changer. So, and I'm not saying we're going to do that. It's just I'm trying to explain how we work a little differently in public transit. It's about ridership. So if CTA, being the only public transit really, truly, moving the coast, y'all are not just, this agency is not just a transit agent, it's a regional transit agency. If you look at it, it really is. It's serving counties and cities. It is the definition of regional. And if you want it to grow and you keep it where it is right now, it's not going to help your constituents in the future. You want to see it expand. Mississippi's growing. You've got a heavy military presence here, port. You've got Amazon coming. You've got, a lot of people coming in here. You've got a Buc-ee's that just opened. You've got Amtrak just launched. In a minute, it's going to head all the way to Baton Rouge. It's going to be a very different face coming through here. And I think a lot of businesses have already honed in to the fact that they can come in here and build and grow, and at a price that they can really see long-term. And that's exciting. It's really exciting. But when you grab transit and you put it in a nutshell, like unfortunately right now it's under utilities, which I'm only 3 weeks into my position, but it is one of my goals while my tenure here at CTA to try to look at a way to get it out from underneath that utility stuff, where it has in this code it was built on, and get it placed in where it belongs. Somewhere that it can plug into something other than subsidies and look at a more long-term growth so that it can really support this community and this city and the counties that support it. Transit, if you look at New York, I'm sure a lot of you have gone out of here, traveled around. New York is is the largest in the United States. Transit is your constituents not being able to get to work. I mean, that's huge, and we cannot, I don't see this agency, it's just long-term, it's not something that's going to be able to maintain.
Sorry to interrupt you. Question, just the Reader's Digest version, since we have several new council members. Could you briefly explain the process for new routes? We have 3 routes. At times we've had more than 3 routes in past years, but as funding dropped or due to circumstances, we're now down to 3 routes, and they're pretty much east and west. But, north of the bay, the city's growing and so forth. Could just maybe, boom, there are 5 things we have to do, and we can help you with this, and you've got to bear the cost of that, and it lasts for a trial period. I just know we have other folks waiting, so this is a good teachable moment. Yeah. Thank you.
So, real quick, so Biloxi right now, I'm sorry, and I just went blank, Councilman.
It's okay.
We
have 3 routes running east and west.
Thank you.
So what would it cost for a trial run? And we've done this in the past, but with the former council, not this new council.
So just to let y'all know, transit is not static. Sometimes councilmen or other bodies become upset when transit discontinues a route. So the definition, we here in public transit say this is the rule of thumb. You want to be moving at least 7 people an hour on a route for it to be financially sustainable, okay? If you drop below 7 people a route, an hour, then it does not become financially sustainable. So the ridership is the fare revenue that you're bringing in on that particular route is what's funding that route, along with those dollars that we use to federal to buy the buses, which are, by the way, about 1.2 million apiece. So those routes have to be able to support themselves. If the ridership is not there, we have to pull back. In other words, also your demographics are changing. So when businesses close, or for whatever reason, and demographics change and people relocate and move, and the ridership is no longer there, we too have to move. So routes cannot stay the same. And transit was not meant to do that. So we are more than open to discussing any need that the city of Biloxi has. As far as, Ninette, we're really interested about providing, service in this area. We have a lot of constituents in this area that we are absolutely, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. But that cost right now is $82 per service revenue hour. Does that answer your question?
That's all I have.
That's all you got?
Can I elaborate off that?
Yeah, Mr. Creel.
Just real quick, so you, regarding moving the route, I looked at the 3 routes. There's not a route north of the bridge. I think there was some difficulties trying to get D'Iberville on board with the subsidy in the past, so I think that's why they don't go on that side. However, and I'm gonna bring up the devil, Pops Ferry Bridge, but going across Pops Ferry Bridge in Ward 4, Ward 6, you have a lot of population that are walking. There's one young lady I know walks to work every single day. I think that there's a lot of population moving north of the bridge that, with apartment complexes that are there, along with the new subdivisions, that I think the ridership would be there. So to kind of explore north of Pops Ferry Bridge on Pops Ferry, just along Pops Ferry Road. And I know you don't want to go into D'Iberville to cross back over. However, there is a route that you could establish on Pops Ferry Road with several stops that I think would meet your ridership to increase. From what I understand, you said increasing your ridership increases your grant money, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. So there's a ton of apartment complex and all of that along Pops Ferry Road. So I would respectfully request if y'all could look at the Pops Ferry Road. Thank you.
And go.
Mr. Marshall.
In East Biloxi, you're talking about increasing ridership. And someone may have mentioned that you're trying to, people who don't have cars, don't have transportation, can't afford car insurance, things like that. You're looking at East Biloxi, and it would be like the prime place to run your best routes for people who fit that description. But yet, it's extremely lacking. So do you have any plans of addressing that issue?
Thank you for the question, Councilman Marshall. And it is my understanding that there are many areas that are underserved currently, and that need and that ridership, absolutely. There are our demographics in our market that we would more than want to, like what you've just mentioned, provide service to. But unfortunately, right now, we just don't have the money. We don't have the money to grow, to really grow and extend to all those, areas. And for example, it doesn't have to be a bus, Councilman. Actually, what I love about transit, especially now, it's become very innovative. And so I could easily put out an RFP for a micro-transit company to come in here and do a first mile, last mile. And instead of us paying 82, then we contract, right, these agencies to come in here, and they provide those transit to those veins that you're speaking of that we can't get to, and actually bring them and connect them to our bus stops. So they would literally pick them up and take them based on our schedules immediately to the nearest bus stop so they can get back and forth. And all those things can be done. But before you go out to RFP, you have to have, and you get quotes, you have to have those funds, and right now, we're only able to do what we have in front of us.
So if you're not able to do that because you don't have the funds, so let's say on Division Street, I don't know if you're familiar with my area or not, but let's say on Division Street, someone needs to get to the train station, the transit station. And so you're saying the last mile, the first mile in that situation would be the person who would pick them up, get them to the bus station. They could do that a lot cheaper than you can at $82 an hour. But the reason why you don't do that because you don't have the funds to do that part.
We don't have the funds to extend another leg, say, because we have to pay another operator. We have to pay their salary, their health insurance. We have to buy another bus, which is about, I'm going to lowball it at $968. And we have to put it in, because, we have to have the vehicle for it, so that's going to require another vehicle. Then we have to have a 20% roll call for buses. In other words, I have to have another bus on standby in case that bus breaks down. I got to have PMs, preventive maintenance. I got to order another fare box, which is about $36,000 to include the software. So there are a lot of pieces there that have to go into play, which can be done, to extend that route. So we have 117 personnel right now at CTA. That includes all of our operators, including our paratransit operators, which is ADA, which that's a curb-to-curb pickup for everybody and anybody that's disabled, mentally or physically, that needs to get to a doctor's appointment, go visit their mothers, go play bingo, go grocery shopping, any of that. We pick them up, take them, pick them back up, and take them home. We do that as well. And that is something that we really need to do a better job of communicating. But can it be done? Yes, it can. And these RFPs, these microtransits, yes, it would ultimately cost less because you can contract them to say, for example, CTA will cover up to $5 of your trip. But anything over $5, the rider is responsible for.
What I'm saying is this, based on just numbers, the most underserved area, the group of people that needs it the most aren't getting it because of cost.
That's correct.
But the people who don't need it the most, cost don't matter.
Who are you saying doesn't need it the most?
Okay, the most, if you go to East Biloxi, we're comprised basically of Ward 1 and Ward 2. They're the ones that need the transportation the most, but they have the least of the public transportation. And you can compare it to any part of the city that you guys go to, but bottom line is Ward 1 and Ward 2, which is East Biloxi, are the ones that need it the most, but yet they have it the less. How do you make that work? How do you fix that?
Well, you fix it, unfortunately, with money, and you fix it, we could not, we could, certainly, if that's what y'all would want us to do for the city of Biloxi, is stop servicing the casinos and putting all our, injecting most of our power into getting your people to work at the casinos. We could take all that system out of there and put it exactly where you're talking about. If y'all want us to do that, we'll do that tomorrow.
How would the casinos, how would the casinos react to that?
Well, probably not in a very pleasant way.
Yeah.
I would imagine, because
We're talking unpleasant about the people in East Biloxi. They're very unpleasant about it because they got to get up and walk, in the transportation that you, at your own mouth, you're saying is really designed for them. But there's a cost now when it comes to
that's
them.
right. So if, again, it would be something that we would have to talk over with the city of Biloxi. The city of Biloxi, the council members, and this council would like to pursue that discussion. We're certainly open to having it.
Quick question on that, right? So your casino hopper, Raynor Street to Cobbett Street to Bayview to Oak Street, Pine Street, 3rd Street, Myrtle Street, what part of that is not Ward 1 and Ward 2? Next question. You got Raynor Street right here on the Beachcomber route. It goes right along the beach. It services East Biloxi, CTA.
Yeah, but if it would go down Division Street, here you're making a whole loop. So if they can just, if they come around, let's say if they go down Oak Street, and they just turn down Division, then make another loop back around, they can just add Division Street, would cure a lot of the people that don't have cars, unfortunate. But just adding that one stretch is not really adding a big route, it's just.
Yeah, because if you continue up Oak Street to take Bayview, you're not servicing anybody back there until you get to Boomtown if you pick somebody up there. So you could take a left on Division and then go up Lee Street.
Yes, you could.
And I'm just going to be upfront with you. In my community, it says that you chose to help those who needed the least and those who needed the most. You went all the way around them, and it's insulting. So what they're asking is that they need a ride. But now that I'm speaking to you, you're saying, oh, yes, they do need a ride, but it's a money problem. But those who don't need a ride, like he was saying, there's a whole section that they're going to, nobody's even living down there. You run that route trying to get to the casinos, but you're missing the main artery. In East Biloxi, Division Street is one way in, one way out. If you live in East Biloxi, there's a chance if you went home, you went through Division Street.
Well, I don't have a problem at all sitting down with CTA at this point. Like I said, I'm 3 weeks in and looking at Division. We'd have to take a bus out there and run it, because that's what we need to do, and see if I need to put my eyes on the street, make sure it's wide enough to take all the safe turns, make sure all the turns can be done safely.
You used to do it.
Pardon me?
You used to do it.
Oh, okay.
Then it stopped, and then people noticed it. But you look at it's just a casino loop, and it just goes around us.
Okay. Well, thank you for telling me that. I'm going to look into it first thing, and then also identify a safe place to put a bus stop, of course.
We, maybe we don't need to create a route, maybe we can just redirect a route.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's plenty of places, we have school bus stops all along Division Street. Like say, going down Division is not, there's a different route they can take to get to Boomtown or wherever they go, and so maybe y'all can looking at the map and helping the people who really need the help that are traveling to doctors and the casinos also, without having to walk so far.
Yep, I'll give him my word.
I have a couple of questions. You talked about ridership being down. When I look at this on the fixed route, it actually increased from 2023 to 2024 to 310,000. And then it doesn't have, it just says budget, the next year 326, and then the next year 342. It shows ridership going up, not down.
And to clarify that, what you're looking at is only for Biloxi.
Okay.
So I apologize for that, but.
Well, that's all we're talking about today is Biloxi.
And I apologize for that, but if you look at the fare revenue, fare box dropped. Fare box for match January was 362 projected. It went from
365 to 362.
362. That small drop is telling you that people are buying passes now, monthly passes, instead of paying the regular $1
I got you.
fare.
The ridership is there, it's just that
Yes.
they're buying a different thing. I'm just trying to clarify it.
Yes.
The other thing, and I'll get to that, well, I got a couple more things. Marketing is down. Marketing revenue is down. What's happening with that? People aren't advertising with you, or when I look at advertising, it's down from nearly 90,000 down to 70,000. When I look at 2025 budget, 2026 budget, I know this may not be actuals, but the data here says it's down. Is there a reason? Or do you know yet?
No, it looks like we had some opportunities to sell advertisement. We put up some fairly large panels outside of the aquarium that we were counting on, but we have not been able to move forward with those.
Okay.
And so, but on top of that, unfortunately, yes, we have not been able to sell.
And a little bit of your lease space income is down as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have actually put out a large advertisement advertising that lease space that's hanging right now alongside the aquarium. So we're hoping, that it's just like we're hoping it picks up.
Okay, cost, I want to get to cost a little bit, and a few years ago, we kind of pinpointed some of the increase in costs. We hired some, CTA went and hired some talent, and so with that talent, that was an increase in their labor. Are your labor costs increasing as far as in these?
Salaries are?
Salaries and wages, they're increasing?
Yes, Council.
How much?
They're increasing right now, 3, 4. For this budget, across the board, we're looking at about a 4% increase.
Which is dollar figure what?
Yes, sir. Dollar figure for everybody. Oof. I don't have the dollar figure right off the top of my head.
No guesstimate, but it's 3 or 4%, okay.
Yeah, it's about a 4% increase.
All right. And then let me circle around to the next albatross in the room. So it's, and you talked about the casino route, maybe we need to serve the other routes. I don't disagree with that. But the bottom line is we drop off, 80%, maybe I'm just throwing some numbers out here, 80% of your ridership is dropped off at the front door at the casinos. And I've said this on record before to my friends in the casino industry, perhaps they need to recognize the value of that and assist a little bit as a group to public transit because it's benefiting them. We're dropping people at their door, they're shaking the quarters and dollar bills out of their pockets, and I'm sure they're having a good time being shaken, but I think, I don't know how we could get people to the table and they do a lot of good in the community, don't get me wrong, but it just seems like a little bit more of a balance as far as contributions to CTA. And I'll end with that. Anybody else have anything to add that I missed?
Going back on what I was saying again, not just to beat a dead horse, but looking at your information here, most of your ridership, your yearly income, 11,000, 25, 73% of your ridership is the area that you going away from. You say you better ridership, more money coming in. So those who don't have a car, that's the whole area you're not going to. But you're going to areas that have cars, and you're looking for riders. They're not going to ride your bus when they got cars. So, but those in the area in East Biloxi, especially getting out there can get the division straight, they don't have cars. This is their income, 73%. This is the people. 63, the African Americans, that is it. Anybody with a census map will look at that. So you saying that the higher your ridership, the more money you get.
Right. That is true.
Is it just me not making it make sense? That's your riders right there. If I was selling hot dogs, I'm not going to go to the vegetarian farm. I'm going to go where the hot dog people at.
Well, Councilman Marshall, and like I said, it's not an excuse. I can promise each one of you, I'm 3 weeks into this, and when I get through the subsidies in this budget, I want to hear. These are the things I need to hear. And when I sit down with my team and my board, CTA has a board of 9 members, these are the discussions that we're going to have. And these are the recommendations that I'm going to make, your recommendations. But I too have a board that I have to report to. And at the end of the day, I'm going to make that recommendation, and I hope that they will support my recommendation and move forward with those changes.
I wish we were doing a different welcome to Biloxi, but this is where we are.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your insightful candor.
One other thing, Kenny.
Yeah. Mr. Tisdale.
Mr. Gladman beat me to it. Welcome to Biloxi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You've learned more about Biloxi in 3 weeks than I knew when I entered the world in 3 weeks. But what I heard you say without really stating it explicitly is you're happy to do whatever we want to do
Absolutely.
as long as we know what we want to do, and then you have the resources to do it.
Absolutely.
So we welcome that, and again, I would urge you all, give her a call, go talk with her.
Yes, and
Thank you.
please, because these are the things that I need to, y'all have been here much longer than I have. I grew up I'm originally from Central America, but I grew up in New Orleans, went to Tulane University. I worked at Regional Transit Authority, worked at Jefferson Parish Transit, and came from U.S. Army in transportation. So I'm here. I'm from, pretty much grown in the South, and I need to hear from all of y'all, and I really, really would appreciate any feedback, guidance, and recommendations. Open.
Mr. Tisdale, no disrespect, but what I heard was you're willing to do whatever you have to do to address the issues, but it seems like when it comes around to the issue that we're speaking about, East Biloxi, you're saying you got to have resources mean money.
Yes, but at the end of the day, right, it's a chessboard. So if I don't have the money to extend a route, I can always take from somewhere, right? I can take from this route. I can take my resources. For example, you all are pointing out to me the casino route, that we're heavy there. They're heavy there because the fare, the ridership and the fare revenue they're collecting, the agency at this time. So, but again, I hear you. And if we say remove some of that service hours from that area and take that, which is service hours equals money, and place it into this area, then it would be an even flat rate, but this area would have a little, less.
That is not what I'm saying, ma'am. That is not what I'm saying. It seems to me that you're saying, you're obviously picking your words, you're picking up the biggest industry we got. You're putting the poorest people up against the biggest industry. You're saying that in order to do the service for the poorest people, you gotta hurt the richest people, and it's like you're putting them against each other. And there's a big city, and you got all these other routes. There's another street that has low ridership somewhere else you can find without making us the bad guy against the casinos.
Oh, no, I just use that as an example.
That's not a good example. You need to find another example. We're not against the casino. We need the casinos for the job. We're for that. However, we need the money. You need the money to do the job. Okay? You're asking us about the money. We're showing you right here that you need ridership. Okay? If they can do zero fares and increase ridership, and you're looking at your core reason, you're putting in paper who your customers are, and you're not going to your customers. And the only way I'm hearing is that you have to put us against the casinos. No. Find another way to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Nail has a question.
Look, I'm in Ward 3. We love y'all. Please don't take nothing away from us. I understand where he's coming from, but a lot of people use y'all's bus in Ward 3 and all down Pass Road. I think it's a good route. Thank you.
We don't have that option. That's what I'm saying. We don't have the bus to get on. If we had the bus, we'll get on the bus.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We just need to reroute a bus. It's not taking away from anything. Still not taking away from the casinos. You just maybe, instead of going down Bayview where there's nothing there, that you may be able to just reroute it and add 2 or 3 stops down Division Street. And you'll pick up a lot of riders that are going to the casinos, or they may be able to get a job at a casino and have a way there now.
Well, tell you what, so by the next time we have, I see y'all again, that will be in place.
Yeah, and congratulations on your new position.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this up, but the other thing is, so if we came to you and said, look, we got $375,000 in the budget, you could build a CTA plan around that number.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but I just wanted to know. All right, thank you. Appreciate you being on the hot seat a little bit for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to Seafood Industry Museum next.
Marshall, y'all just gotta go to Ward 3 to catch the damn bus. That's all.
Back on a pickup truck.
Give everybody a chance to collect their CTA credits here.
Yeah, let CTA. She's gonna flatten your tires.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So you basically, your ask this year is the same as last year? No increase, decrease? Okay. Anybody want to open up with any questions? Mr. Nail? No. Mr. Creel?
Let's see. So you're on here twice, I think. So we have the electricity bills, and then we have the management contracts, correct? Is that?
All the programs and everything.
All the programs. So how does a pier fall under you through the museum, or does a pier fall under ports and harbors? Okay, so the pier does fall underneath your umbrella, right there. And then the lease revenue from your pier, from your slip rentals, is that revenue to you? Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's all I had, thank you.
Mr. Tisdale?
Geez, you live to tell the tale, Robin. Good for you. Cross the finish line. Well done, faithful servant. I have nothing. Kill your mom.
I think this is pretty easy. I just thought with that big salary drop that, no, I'm teasing. Best of luck. Your legacy will continue forever, and your legacy, you're continuing it by taking over that leadership role. So thank you both for your service. No further questions. Anybody from the George Orr? No one from the George Orr? Let's talk about Bobby Gilliam.
That's what I was going to suggest.
It's a brand new item. Why should we put $50,000 out there?
Great question. And the first thing I'm going to do is let you know that after some conversations with various council members and folks, we're lowering our request. I'm not sure how we got to 50,000, but right out of the gate, we're asking for 25,000. And the first reason we should do this is right now we've got a couple of areas in the city.
Excuse me, I don't have any more questions.
All done.
Now, go ahead, Bobby.
Right now, we don't have a whole lot of ability as a city and a community to incentivize certain pockets. We can take big swings when we want to do economic development and encourage investors to come into our different areas or revitalize certain areas. We as a foundation saw that as an opportunity as we were looking for what do we serve, how do we serve and partner with the city. We looked at that and we said, okay, let's identify how could this 501c3 serve a good purpose. And a facade grant or a facade grant program is a very easy, very impactful way that we can put economic development dollars into the system, so to speak, or into our community, and to do it in a way that is putting private dollars first. Because that's always the big question when we talk about economic development or incentives. We want private dollars to be spent first, but as a city, you want to come in and backstop that. What we're proposing, what we're asking the city for as a $20,000 contribution is our foundation has pledged $10,000, Mississippi Power Foundation is pledging $10,000, and we'd ask the city council to approve 20 to match that, so we could start with a $40,000 facade grant improvement program. I mentioned along Pass Road and Division. What that would look like is folks that either own or rented space in this corridor could apply for up to $5,000 to be reimbursed if they spent $10,000 to repaint their building, to put an awning up, to get new signage. Now, a similar program was run through Biloxi Main Street a number of years ago. Those funds have been depleted, and that program we looked at, that capped their reimbursement at $1,000. That was the downtown area. It's an urban space. $1,000 went a lot further on a building when you're renting a storefront than when you have a parking lot, signage along Pass Road, things of that nature. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish here, and to build that partnership with the city to continue to be a tool that we can use to incentivize and help stabilize the basis of our small businesses.
So that covers 20,000, so.
The last 5,000.
Thank you.
Is for what we're calling the last mile fund. Last number of years, our board is comprised of business owners and also the board presidents of various organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, Biloxi Bay Chamber of Commerce, Biloxi Main Street, and the city has representatives on our board. So we hear a lot of things and projects that are going on a grassroots level that are building steam. So I mentioned the DIY skate park underneath I-110 as one example. Another one would be the focus and kind of excitement on Porter and Irish Hill and Howard Avenue in that area. We as a foundation stepped in with the food giant just to do some sprucing up of that area. And we paid for and organized volunteers to just repaint all of the yellow caution curbing along that exterior on Porter Avenue and Irish Hill. So there are opportunities like that. That costs a couple $100. But for that to go through a city request and go into Public Works or Parks and Rec, we're way down the field, and we've spent way too much time just to put some new caution paint right around the food giant and make that a little bit more appealing to the community and to the neighborhood. So projects like that is what the additional $5,000 would be set aside for. As those come up, they can be brought to our board, and we can vote on it. The other thing that I'd mention is we're an all-volunteer board. We have 0 staff. So every dollar goes directly into that program. So we don't have this is not going to administrative overhead, it's not going to operational expenses, it's actually going into the pockets of property owners or business owners that are applying for a facade grant, or for organizations and community groups that have a project or something that's right there, they just need a couple $100. And we'd like to have that ability where we can contribute funds and ask the city to help out with that as well.
Quick question.
All right, Mr. Crew.
So is this a particular area or just throughout the whole city?
Which? Our foundation?
Right.
The foundation is called, our name is the Greater Biloxi Economic Development Foundation, which was the original name in 1981 when our organization was founded. In the last few years, I'd say about 5 years ago, a small core group of business owners got together and basically took this organization back from the county. For many years, this was the Harrison County Economic Development Foundation, and it oversaw and managed the old Innovation Center off Pops Ferry Road. When the county sold that asset, there were a number of us that got together with the city and basically stepped up and said, you, the county, aren't using this entity, this 501c3. We'd like to bring it back into really the city here in Biloxi, and we've done that. We've revised our bylaws, rewritten our mission, and we've been trying to re-engage the community on where we can be a tool to help.
So anyone in the city of Biloxi is eligible to apply for these grants?
Well, the grant program that we're talking about, because Mississippi Power is the initial entity, their funds have to have certain restrictions. So this is a program that they run in any number of municipalities and cities and counties, and there are restrictions. Some of those restrictions include you have to be a Mississippi Power customer, or at least in a Mississippi Power service district. And beyond that, we have to define some type of an area. Previously, when this program was funded under Main Street itself has a geographic bounds. Right. We do not, which gives us a little bit more elbow room to work through this. And that's why we're looking at what corridor, what area would we define this without making it a complete free-for-all and say, everybody in the greater Biloxi, because we're only talking about $40,000 total if we agree to this match.
Right, yeah, but you defined it with the Mississippi Power.
Exactly.
Yeah, you defined it there. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions, Mr. Gray?
Now, would this grant cover like buildings that need to be pressure washed? Because we got a few businesses that just will look a lot better if it was pressure washed.
If the property owner, so let me just clarify, a property owner can apply or a tenant can apply. So if you're leasing the property, you can apply. If you're the property owner, you can apply. You can't both apply, but yes, to answer your question, if it needs pressure washing, depending on what that is, our grants, what we're talking about, would be up to $5,000. And one of the requirements is we would reimburse 50% of the overall project. So that's why I give the example of the property owner spends $10,000 to repaint the building or buy a new awning, have a new sign, we could reimburse $5,000 of that.
Right. Now,
Does that answer your question?
yeah, no, I'm just thinking if somebody come to you and they needed $500 to pay to get their building pressure washed, I mean, would that be kind of in this
I think
grant?
that would be in the same spirit. Because again, what we're trying to do is create something where we have a spirit of what we're all trying to accomplish here, but we do have the pre-design and determined kind of regulations and a process.
Right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the,
Marshall?
on Pass Road, how far west on Pass Road do you have? Do you have a map? Are you gonna get a map for me?
We don't, because again, this is all predicated upon everyone in the city council approving this to the tune of, so Mississippi Power has put that restriction on me and on our foundation that they will chip in and we can go down this path. They're okay with me working with all of you gentlemen to figure out exactly what is that geography, and then using the term corridor gives us a little bit more elbow room. So to answer your question, we don't have right now, I can't say it goes to DeVries. I can't say it goes to any specific area or cross street, but open to that discussion. I'm not sure, what y'all's thoughts would be on that.
No money, no map.
I'm sorry?
No map, no money.
Yeah, look.
He said no map, no money.
Yeah, right.
We need a map.
And also,
I'm happy to contribute.
You got two facades on here. We have two facades on here. You associate with the other group?
I'm not sure what other facade you have.
Did I read that wrong? We got another facade, something on here?
Yeah, he's number 132.
Yeah, who's that?
No, I don't know who the other guys, he's number 132. Yeah.
Therefore, I think that was through Main, I think that was run.
Is that Main Street?
I think that was run through Main Street. We'd set money aside for a facade grant at Peter.
Okay.
Clean up on 3.
That facade grant, all the money's been spent out of that prior facade.
Well, there's a request.
Yeah, they're previously.
So there's a request on here, do we just delete it? The facade grant that's on our list?
I still believe we refund so much each year. We've allocated it all.
So you in the middle of something, so just hold tight. Is Main Street asking for, on top of what they already asked for, they're asking for an additional $10,000?
I don't think he understands what we're saying.
You're asking for Main Street, 10,000 more.
There's,
What's the amount, just a minute, Bobby. What's the amount here on the
406.
non-departmental? Is that money that is requested or not requested? Speaking to the microphone so everybody can hear you.
There you go.
Okay, so when we're talking about facade grants, the currently funded facade grants, right?
We're talking about what's in this budget right here.
This request.
It's $24,500.
Yes, these are currently funded. There are no new ones. At this point, we have 3 of them out there. We've got the Machado Tano building, we've got the Bella, and we've got Desport's building. There is a portion in here, and it's in 406? The 406 funds those 3 agreements. This is totally separate.
Understood. We just want to make sure this isn't a new program. Is it already allocated to something or tied to something?
It's new money.
Or is this new money?
406 is tied to the sales tax. It's a percentage of we calculate, all of these were derelict buildings. So anything that we get sales tax is
We'll
because
fund this amount.
that is funded by that. We reimburse up to, I think, 75% on one.
And they make their application through the Main Street.
No.
Right.
No, we had I think at one point we had about 500,000. That was for like a new building. For example, the Fritz building, they built that entire building. The restoration of the building next to People's Bank area, next to the
old Borden's.
right. And then people that build new houses in the area, they could apply for up to $25,000. And for the most part, some fellow built a house on Suter, he got about $7,000. That was a pure grant. In conjunction with that, we've got 3 to 4 projects, Desport, Machado Patana, and Bella, where they put the money up themselves. They paid for the improvement, they paid for the facade grant, and they are being reimbursed through future sales tax. So we did not really put that money up, but as they're generating sales tax, they're coming up saying, where's my reimbursement?
So we don't have a choice.
Budgeted that.
We don't have a choice on this item. We have to put this on the books, and this is what we're guesstimating.
Main
It'll
Street
be
is
funded.
involved because they are sort of the administrator of that. They're the pass-through entity.
Good to know.
But this here, as I understand it, there's no sales tax reimbursement. It is just a straight grant.
Okay. All right, Bobby, back to you. Any other questions?
Can I clarify one point on that? Sure. Because I was the board president and VP and involved with Main Street during that period of time. So I'm a little bit familiar with those programs. One of the things that we're consciously doing with this grant program is not tying to future sales tax revenue and upside. That way, we don't run into this issue in the future.
Okay.
Before you go, you're saying that $500 would be, someone that needs just $500, you would help them?
For the
facade grant?
If somebody submitted an application for a $500 reimbursement, then they, absolutely, and they met the criteria and they submitted the proper paperwork.
Okay. Let me tell you, up to 5,000.
Up to 5,000. So if somebody wanted
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
Okay. All right. Coming over to East Biloxi, when you come down Division Street, doing business is off Division Street. One in particular is actually, so even-minded I am, my competitor. There's a funeral home on Deloney Street. They're up and down those little side streets. There are actual, be surprised about their actual businesses. And they could probably use it, but if you just go straight down Division Street, you're gonna miss them. If you don't turn on Main Street, you're gonna miss them. So when I say bring us a map, what I'm saying is that if I don't see where you're gonna help those who need it the most, I don't see where, where we can.
Coming down Division Street provides a step in that direction, wouldn't you say? And to just so we're clear, we choose the term corridor because we're addressing a block or two in either direction, giving some elbow room. And I wanted to make sure that we didn't just choose the Pass Road corridor and stop right there at Gate 7. We said we also have opportunity in future in businesses that need this grant, and that's where we want to put it.
Okay, obviously I'm pro East Biloxi. So if the map is showing where you're gonna do something in East Biloxi and it's gonna affect the businesses in East Biloxi, and you're willing to put that in writing, because this is a new program, we don't have anything to go on. We don't have to go by your past. So it has to be stated very, very clear. Okay, other than that.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Question.
Real quick.
So I see in years past, this same organization had asked for 20,000 in 22, 10,000 in 23, and 10,000 in 24. So I'm assuming in 25 is when y'all made the change from Harrison County to Greater Biloxi, or no?
No, we made the change, I want to say in 21 or 20.
Okay, so
Thereabouts.
so it's not a brand new organization. So you've had these grants in place.
No, we have not. We have never, this new iteration of this foundation has not been an organization or an entity that as a conduit for a facade grant program like this.
So the previous requests were for a different program?
They were for different uses, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Bobby. I think that's it. All right, I'd like to call Mr. Woody Bailey up next.
One more thing. I want to be clear, Mr. Bond, I want to be clear. I'm not against it. I just want to be clear that East Biloxi is included. That's what I'm in for. That's all I'm talking about.
Absolutely. No. Respectfully, I understand and hear where you're coming from, and we'll have the map and put this together. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
Mr. Bailey. All right, I'll just give opening remarks. I've worked with you for a long time, actually 2 or 3 decades, I think. But it goes without saying, Cruising the Coast, we've supported it. It was a huge success last year as well. I know it taxes our law enforcement a little bit, but all in all, everybody has a great time, and it certainly has put us on the map as one of the premier events, not only in the region, but in the nation. So I'll just make those opening remarks. You're not asking for anything more. You're asking for the same contribution as we made last year. I'll open the floor up. Anybody want to ask questions? No, I don't have. Mr. Creel? Mr. Marshall? Good. You're not Mr. Marshall? No. Mr. Marshall? Mr. Gray? Mr. Nail? I'm good. Mr. Marshall again?
Just asking questions right now?
Yeah, you have any questions?
Oh, I just have a general question. On your membership, your amount of people coming in, is it increasing? How is it increasing?
As far as participants?
Yes.
Right as it stands today, we are up 172 where we were last year at this point in time. So at present it's increasing, but overall it's been increasing. We not only look for participants that are driving the cars, 3.5 people per vehicle, but if you notice our advertising that you'll be seeing outer market areas now, we really don't ask for you to come register your car, Cruising the Coast, and participate. We want you to come and see Cruising the Coast. We're really after spectators to come in and see the event. So when we talk about are we increasing or not, we think that there's around 125,000 people that are here during the whole week of Cruising the Coast. So we're looking at people not only that are here driving cars, but we're here looking for people that are coming to see and enjoy the Mississippi Gulf Coast during Cruising the Coast.
I'd just like to add that this event, you could take 4th of July, you could take Labor Day weekend, and almost take Memorial Day weekend and combine them, and it won't equal what this event generates in 7 days as far as occupied hotel rooms. The average hotel rate this may be the highest average hotel rate is for the entire year during these 7 days. And the economic impact study y'all did generates how much on an annual basis?
Well, the last study we did was in 2021. We will be doing another one next year. So if you look at we look at it at the state overall, and we also look at it at 3 coast counties. It was in 2021 is 36.1 million for the state, and then 33.1 million for the 3 coast counties. We've grown a great deal since 2021. So I suspect our numbers are pretty higher, you know, a good deal higher than that.
Okay.
Find out next year.
All right.
All right?
With that, I just want to say thank you guys for what you do. I appreciate it. My family enjoys it, and I always invite people down, and we have a good time.
Good, appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey, could you arrange for something to go by Marshall's house so that he would smile more during council meetings? Anything would be appreciated.
Vintage hearse, I think, that you.
Since you brought up East Biloxi, yes, we do these events in East Biloxi.
I don't think we have any other questions.
Something really
thank you,
loud
Mr.
he
Bell.
likes.
Excuse me?
Something really loud.
Yeah.
Late at night.
Thank y'all very much.
All right. All right, who else do we need to get to? Who else? Come on up.
Casa.
Casa.
I think that's.
I don't know. What's that? No.
All right, anyone want to start out with any questions for Casa? Y'all heard her talk about it earlier. Mr. Gray, you want to kick it off?
No, me and her talked before. What she does, her whole organization is well needed, and we need more people like that to get out and help the people that be a voice for the ones who don't have one. And we appreciate what y'all do. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I just want to say that if we had to hire someone to do what you do, we couldn't afford it. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. I do think it is way more than a job. It is a vocation. And I'm very fortunate that I get to speak on behalf of hundreds of kids a year through my volunteers' voices. You know, the people like Diane, over 130 of them in South Mississippi, they are really angels in these communities. I just get to be a mouthpiece and be passionate and know when I go to sleep at night that I'm making a difference in some small way. But they're the people you really should thank.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I ask Ms. Stacy Riley to come up next? Okay. Yep. Mr. Tisdale, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, hi, Stacy. I don't have any questions. I know you do good work. You know we're limited in terms of the dollars we have to give out and everything, but your organization does wonderful work. The only question I have is about the Family Justice Center. That's countywide, right? And just 25 words or less, just the progress, because I know this started maybe 2 years ago, and we have new council members. What is the Family Justice, what does that do?
The Family Justice Center is a one-stop shop for anybody who's been affected by interpersonal violence, so domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, childhood sexual abuse. Family members of homicide victims can come come into that facility and get help, not just from our agency and the service providers we have, but also we'll have other entities inside that building. Now we're in the process of moving everything together. We did a strategic plan last year. I think we came to present to the council because it takes a large facility to do this in, because you're talking about our agency and all of our staff members and other nonprofits, law enforcement presence, court presence, everybody in there. So if a victim walks in there, they don't have to go other places. They're going to come to that place and get help from everyone. So where it is right now is the county has provided us a location to be phase one, and it is the old youth court in Gulfport. And so some of our team members are there. That's where our legal clinic is. That's where a lot of our advocates that work in courts are, and that's where our forensics medical clinic is located right now. And we're seeking funding through congressionally directed spending through Cindy Hyde-Smith's office, in hopes that she's included money in her budget to expand that, for us to be able to add on 18,000 square foot to the already present 4,500 square feet that is there. So that will serve our entire our county, our six-county service area, the shelter will remain where it is. We will not move the shelter outside of Biloxi. We have our public location here in Biloxi. We're trying to figure out what we will do with that. If we'll still have that space here or not, because it comes down to operating. Because to operate a 20,000 square foot building is going to be quite daunting. So we're hoping if this all goes through that next year around this time we may be building onto that program. Our goal is to reduce the number of places that victims have to go to get help because we work for them, they don't work for us. So if we have everybody in that building that's there to provide services to that person, then that's one less phone call they have to make. That's one less place they have to go to. That's one less opportunity to get misinformation from every entity around there. So that's where we are right now. We're located in Gulfport for that space, but only limited. That's only phase one. I know I went way over your time.
No, that's fine. Thank you, Stacy, and I almost couldn't hear that fast, almost, but thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, so just so we're clear for myself and the others, so you're with Gulf Coast Women's Center and the Family Justice Domestic Violence, not the Women's Resource Center?
Correct.
So just the two, correct?
Yes.
Right, perfect. Thank you.
Do you work with them? Do you communicate with them and do any coordination?
We're definitely partners. We share clients back and forth. We share resources. Our agency, as well as other nonprofits, we work very well together.
But the requests aren't together, right? There's a request for them as well. I just want to make sure we're looking at it in totality.
They're in charge of their own.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
They have to come sit in this firing squad.
That's right.
That's right.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? No? No. Okay, thank you. Who else do I have? Okay. Is that it?
No.
I won't be here.
No, you go, I'm sorry. I want to address that, what was just passed out in just a minute, since the word millage was brought up. I want to give you some little arithmetic on it after we get finished.
All right. Motor vehicle for hire. Anybody have any questions? I don't think there was any increase. Was there an increase or not?
Gaslight,
Yeah.
I think. Maybe a couple of thousand.
$1,600? What's $1,600 increase for?
Well, the way that is funding for that organization is set up is by pro rata share. The actual increase means that the city of Biloxi actually had more people dropped off in it than the previous year. It's done on a percentage basis. Last year, it was 46% of the customers that were dropped off in our jurisdiction were dropped off in Biloxi. This year, 48%.
You started picking up some of those CTA riders, huh? No, I'm teasing.
Started picking up some of the week. I think we got accused of dropping some people off somewhere before too. So that's totally different.
All right, so this is per our agreement. So this is the guesstimate coming up. Okay, any other questions? Motor vehicle for hire? No? Good? Everybody good?
Just one comment, you're doing a wonderful job. We haven't seen any disgruntled cab drivers, and I'm sure you have them. So you're doing wonderful work when you see a lot and we don't see any. Keep up the good work.
I was telling Mr. Weaver, y'all received a letter that was taken care of, justified by our members and our board attorney, along with the airport authority and their attorneys. In 3 days of that, a gentleman come in to get a permit. Through the process, the night before he's supposed to pick it up, he was arrested for felony possession with intent for fentanyl.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that didn't happen.
Well, I know you can't save everybody's soul, and that's not your job, but seriously, Ken, you've done a very good job out there with the Motor Vehicle Authority. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mayor.
Yeah,
what you're proposing here?
I'm not proposing anything.
Okay.
I just heard the word millage and what that means to
millage or millage?
Millage.
Okay.
Dr. Millage over here. No, and we've been talking, and I want to thank Diana and Rick and everybody, and the department managers, department directors to get us to the point where we are, okay? You know, there's a gap, and there's ways to fill a gap, and this is just one way. And, you know, in talking about millage and what it means, and I think 793 was what the value of it. And, you know, if we had to fill a gap and if it worth 3 mills, what would that mean to the homeowner? Okay? We haven't touched millage. That 30.1 mil was around, and you can see the comparison of the cities around us. And, you know, it just so happens, you know, $2 million is what's on this piece of paper we just talked about. 3 mills would kind of wash at least part of that. But, you know, we have a challenge. There we talked about local and private kind of options on asking for a food and beverage tax or you know, occupancy tax and you know, as well as this. You know, we face probably $3 million worth of increases as far as wages and salaries and inflation, about 30% over the last 2 years. Don't you think, Diana? 30%. We struggle through it. Now, the last audit, it said there was, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, we don't want to eat into any kind of, now I won't say rated A fund, but unrestricted fund balance. I mean, that's why we have a AA rating. But, you know, there are other cities, and I know my good friends in Gulfport are in the same analysis. I mean, not a situation, we're not in a situation, but there are graceful solutions and what it means. But I wanted to say something, you know, on the record, because we may be facing something like this or some challenges that, you know, we can do this immediately, okay, and fill some of the wishes to make revenues and expenses equal. And sometimes we'll wind up with a year-to-date gain or loss. We may or may not, because we just have 6 weeks to go, Diane. But bottom line, we've done some things. We froze some salaries. We've been to get that, to close this delta. But I really want to be very specific about what a mill means, and a mill means to a resident, a homeowner, right? Okay. So you can look at, we've been sitting at 30.1 mills for forever. And you can notice that in the county, you pay more, you and I pay more to the county than we pay to the city. Okay, and as well as the school districts, they just raised them. It was part of a debt that they increased this millage. So, but we used to be at 109 point something or another. So 111.77. You know, if we do nothing, if we kick it up 3 mills, which would, you know, result in a little bit of a, you know, 793 times 3. Minus a little bit, but that would put us at 114.77 mills, below, 20% below a lot of our sister cities around. So, but if you're a homeowner, you have homestead exemption, you got a $200,000 house, okay? The arithmetic shows you that kick your escrow up $5 a month, $60 a year. So that's an option. Again, occupancy tax, you know, it requires, you know, if you go around the country, you'll see those things in a lot of other places. You don't see them here. And as well as food and beverage. I think Ocean Springs passed a 2% food and beverage tax across everybody, the whole 9 yards. But both of those options require a couple of things. First, a unanimous approval. I think, Peter, pretty much a unanimous approval to ask the legislature to grant us the opportunity to go out for a referendum. That referendum would be a 60% requirement. So, you know, we can't do this, you know, of the things we can do immediately to be where we are is a millage increase. You know, I've been mayor since 2015, and we fight the same battle every time, and we seem to work out. This, you know, we went through some incredible situations, you know, with COVID. You know, we lose $9 million we choked that down. We got a little bit of ARPA and a little bit of recovery. But, it's time to look hard at our options. We still have a delta, even if we do this, there are some options, but I'm thinking, just to put it in perspective, it's $60 a year on a $200,000 house if you're a homeowner.
Quick question.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Quick one. So, and I don't remember when it was, but in years past, wasn't there some talk between the city and the county on allocating more of a percentage back to the city from what we pay them? I just heard them say $50 million in surplus.
The same thing. I heard that.
Yeah, but I thought there was talk where.
But I don't know whether it was unrestricted or what it was. I mean, we could say that, but it wouldn't be the truth.
Right.
But we've got commitments. But I know we need to be in a mode that we can survive. 3 months, and that's what ABL and that's what Raymond James and some of these other folks are telling us. And you're looking to maintain our credit rating, and the reason why we get the good rates, when we go and part of our calculation, I'm going down the road a little bit, is doing some of the long-term things that we used to do in a single year. Buy a truck, a fire truck that used to be $127,000 is now $937,000, and we got 4 of them on order.
And when was the last millage increase?
I don't know. Before.
It was a decrease.
Yeah, and usually let me.
You could find the millage history on my website.
Okay.
The right side of the page, the history, and Diana is correct.
As you expose things, said, okay, our budget is something, okay? X amount of money of this is raised through ad valorem taxes. In order to balance our budget, we need to propose an increase in millage, whatever, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But, it's something that we need to be pondering, and we can't do it all today. Y'all wore me out. This is a triathlon today. I don't know. But, that's one option, and there are other options, and I think there are even some things on the radar that have to be worked out, but there's some things we can do immediately, and some things that we can cut things and not deliver the services, but our commitment in my heart, our public safety is the most, some of the ratings and some of the evaluations that City of Biloxi has when it comes to fire. We need 140 people that are sworn and can do the things, isn't that right, Rick? And as well as, the rating that we have in the fire department and PD remain tied to how many budgeted positions you have. And that is getting more and more expensive every day. It used to be from PERS, 17, now it's going to push 20, okay? And it's going to go higher. And this is not magic, and we've been very successful in some of the numbers. Sales tax is a pretty good indicator, but also gross gaming revenue and where we are. We've been record year from 21 to 22 to 23 to 24. We budgeted record years, and we're meeting that, even in these crazy times. So I talk fast and a lot, but that's my story, and so everybody understands that if you kick it up 3 mills and you're living in the $200,000, you can expect to be paid $60 more. To the city.
So do you have a number on what that would generate total?
$2 million. $2 million. What, Diane? 2?
Well, it gets split between several funds, but the general fund of development.
Now, let me also say this, and I've got in our Raymond James, there's certain things that are going to drop, and we've done this as debts relief. We've converted it, converted it to the use in general fund as we pay off things. And there'll be some things roll off in 27, in 28, and 29. Okay?
Nothing in 26.
So roughly, nothing in 26.
No. But, I mean, it's still part of the plan. You got to look 5-10-year plan.
Yep.
And that's it. And we made some very wise moves. And I'm thinking, and we talked a little bit about moving in a bond situation. That I think it's a great move to put some of those things we actually need to keep buying and that last, like generators and roofs and some of the things that we've got to do. Don't choke it down in 1 year. We can fade the interest. Right now, I think we're in a mode, but because of our rating, we can get some things right at 4 and do some things that would be impactful. Say on a $10 million bond, that we'd only pay interest only for first year, or it would roll out. And I think she'll kick me, but I think there's going to be we made some great moves in refinancing a whole lot of stuff, like the ball field. We went from $1.5 million to get that service to 1.2. Okay, with a 1.95%. Okay, and those days, I think, are coming. Well, not that drastically, but I think, I've heard 2% in a year. So I think the play is a combination of a lot of things. We might have to cut some things. We may have to defer some things, but there's a way when you put these pieces together that it's the right thing to do, for we all Biloxi, and we can do it. We've done the moves before, and we can do it again.
Yeah, I have a question. 1 mil equals to roughly how much?
I'm sorry? 1 mil generates about $793,000 in revenue.
Let me say that again.
$793,000, that was mentioned already. $793,000 is worth of value of a mill in revenue. Now, let me say that. Next year, that was bumped up. We increased the value by assessed valuation of the property that went on board. We're going to be increasing. I think we actually 600,000 or so. Yeah. 600,000. That value grew.
There was a reassessment.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a reassessment every 4 years, but there are new things coming on board too. We've rolled off all of the properties that we gave some incentive, right?
We still have 2, community bank and a hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know which hotel it is.
Yeah, we're over there, Hilton, right over there. But there'll be new properties coming on board over there. If you look at it, I like to look at a 60-month deal, where we're going to be. And we've been, as I said, been wise, I think, and been pretty shrewd in a couple of ways. I know we reduced our tax bill at the refinance $104 million on the utility authority. And if you look on your bill and there's a credit balance, that was us refinancing that. So that little dollar or so, is why we're absolutely cheaper than anybody else around when it comes to water. But that was from some refinances on that opportunity. And but I just want to throw this out and understand that we've got to do some things. This could be one of them.
What's the process? What is the process for raising the millage?
Well, first we've got to advertise. We've got to make sure that it may be, say, if 3 mills. If it was 3 mills, we got to publish, I think when, Peter, next Friday? This Friday. We got to say, it's a possibility. It may not have to do it, but you got to give notice of a public hearing for the additional millage or the setting of the millage. So, I didn't want to be, but, we may not have to, we may not want to, or, it may not be, past this you, but this is, it's got to be done. I think we can't be bashful at this point.
So how do we arrive at that decision in 3 days?
Well, you don't have to ride, you might not raise it at all, right. But if there is a possibility. Are you
intending to advertise?
I think so. I think that would be my intent, yeah. No. It may be necessary to increase millage. That's what a lot of, if you look at some of the school districts that would say, and they don't really, in the ones that I've seen, they don't really give you an amount. Some people do. But it may be necessary, and there would be a public hearing to discuss the amounts.
All right? I mean, if you do nothing, like we've never raised it before, so we've advertised and said, we do not plan to raise millage. Now, if you plan to, or thinking about it, you say, this is what we're thinking.
It may be unnecessary.
But the amount of millage is always, any increase is up to y'all to decide.
Understood. So does that require any council recommendation, or does the mayor just advertise it?
I don't know. I never done it.
Well, I guess,
If you advertise it in 3 days, and
to get with the 2-week
hearing on doing this.
Well, the last
Set a
time,
hearing, we got to set a hearing, right?
you got to do it within 2 weeks before the public hearing, which would be the first week in September 2nd.
Yeah.
So, I think the prudent thing to do would be to advertise for that. Or you can just say, we don't think it should happen. We could take a straw poll now.
So,
If we had 6 to 7 votes saying, just don't even consider it, give it a 0, then we probably wouldn't do it.
We got to advertise one way or the other. We got to advertise one way or the other if we do
I
or
recommend
don't.
this. Let me make a recommendation. I don't think we need to take a straw vote now. I think whatever the mayor intends to do, he does it, and then we come back and we address it, because it will require council approval if we do move forward. So, Mayor, whatever you intend to do, I'd suggest that you do it.
What are you
and the
saying?
council stands ready to review it.
No, wait, what are you saying?
I'm saying that the mayor, if he intends to advertise it, he can do that. But it will require.
How much is he advertising?
3 meals is what.
Why won't do just 5?
What I would suggest is that we authorize the mayor to advertise, okay?
And then it'd be up to
I'm no attorney, but I don't think you can walk out there and advertise whatever you want. I think you need the council's blessing on that. And if I understood correctly, in the school businesses, this is your intent. All right, and in the school business, you ask for dollars, and then the city calculates the millage, okay? So I think if you're going to, if the intent is to advertise this Friday, I would suggest, it's been a long day. What's today, Tuesday? We could meet tomorrow, we could meet Thursday, just a special meeting. Because I hate to take any official action in workshops because nothing's on the agenda. And in this case, David Shoemaker's not here in Ward 7. I think he needs to be present. That may be one of the factors here is when David gets back into town. But I think we meet, and at that time, we vote on whether or not to authorize the mayor to advertise for either the dollar amount. Peter, you'll have to check on this. Do we ask for dollars, or do we ask for mills? And probably it would be the intent is up to X number of dollars or X number of mills. All right, and then as we go, we're not quite finished with the budgeting process, but then when we are there, pretty much after the public hearing and before that last meeting when we vote, you'll have some idea of exactly how many mills or how many dollars you're gonna need, right?
Yeah, I think the deadline for publication, which is much better with the new weekly paper, I think we have until Thursday about 3 o'clock to tell him how we want it to read.
Meet tomorrow? You think we need to meet tomorrow?
No, it doesn't make, I mean, this is important.
Enough time?
Whenever,
notify.
Again, I'd go back to, we need to find out when David Shoemaker's gonna be back in
He
town.
can zoom in.
I don't think he'll be back to Thursday afternoon, but he can.
He could zoom in, okay, that's true, I'd forgotten about that.
Advertising won't affect our rating? Is it like a soft poll, or does it not even that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
As far as the mills, I mean, that's.
You just have to have an advertisement in place if millage will ever be raised. I mean, it's still, the ultimate number is still subject to what the council votes on or how they budget it.
So it doesn't affect the city as far as its A rating or anything in that regards? Okay.
No, I mean, I think,
If we advertise, do we have to say how many mills we plan to go up?
The standard statutory advertisement says, I think it says something like the city is proposing a 3 mil increase. Now, then they say, come to the public hearing and make yourself heard. And people make themselves heard, and it can be, the number is subject to change, but I think, you don't want to advertise for a 2 mil increase and wind up with a 3. You'd want to advertise for a 3, and you might have a 2.
And Dr. Tisdale had mentioned too, I think in the school districts, the ones that I paid attention to, because they've been doing this more than not, just like it stated, you back into the millage you have to do, but you want to raise $2.5 million through ad valorem taxes, which translates to 3 mils or 3.1 or whatever it is. That's what the most advertisement I've seen is exactly how you said it. It's intended to generate so many millions of dollars in ad valorem taxes.
Basically what you're doing is you're giving the most accurate information you have available at that time to inform the public that you're looking to have a revenue increase based on a property tax.
That's right.
That's basically it.
Ad valorem taxes, that's right.
Right, and sometimes you say it's not expected to exceed, but I don't want to get into the language. That's the counselor's job.
Does it require a unanimous vote? Okay. No, it's just part of the budget.
Oh, before we look at doing a millage, that way we can look at seeing where we can cut money.
Sure.
And save money, because we're helping everybody but ourselves.
That's what we're doing.
Well, yeah,
That's what we're doing.
in the process of doing, yeah. We're trying to save overtime, we're trying to save, equipment that really has a life cycle of more than 1 year. There's certain things you can't save on gasoline, you can't save on, either you lose services. To provide the services we need, we want, and again, 70% of this is related to personnel, okay? We took down, $2 million more in salaries over increases over the last couple of years. Our employees need to be at the top of the situation. That's the biggest part of our deal. And the equipment we need to do, whether it's police cars or fire trucks or dump trucks or lawnmowers, we need those things. You got to cut something if you want it to balance.
Right, because we can raise the mills now, but next year, next go around, we may be more than that. Then we have to try to raise it again. But
along the things I expect, the mill will grow in value. Okay, grow in value, and then I expect that at some point in time, there'll be some mechanism to even reduce. If we pay off things, you drop that millage. There's ways, and there may be some other things on the radar from the state's level. As a matter of fact, we'll be talking possibilities that may happen. Who knows where we'll be with regard to sales tax diversions and stuff like that. So,
we unpacked a few things here. Are you available tomorrow, 11 a.m.?
Yep.
11 a.m. work for everybody for a special call meeting? What? No? Yes?
Wait, what are we doing?
I think Mr. Tisdale recommended that we have a special meeting tomorrow to give the mayor authorization to advertise up to 3 mils or 3 mils. Is that correct?
No, we didn't set a limit. We did not set a limit.
It's statutory, giving him the authority to advertise for it. It doesn't go into effect until we review it after the public workshop or whatever.
I don't think it can exceed.
Who picked the number 3 mil?
That's what the statute says.
No.
Well, let me tell you, there is a statutory problem over 10% of the millage. I think, Diane, am I wrong on that?
Yeah, there's a 10% limit. Our mills are basically the 30% mill. It's not there are different things that come in and out based on what you've collected in past years, but 3 mils is
10% of the 30 that was there.
3 mils is probably, I think technically we could raise 4.5 to 5 mils based on the amount of previous sales tax collected.
Okay.
I think this number was arrived at because we're looking at what's a potential shortfall based on a lot of the non-departmental and where we already were. What's something to help fill the gap?
Right. Well, my issue is this. We have an East Biloxi we have to do something for East Biloxi. And it's the one that's been neglected the most. And if you just limit it at 3 million, we spread that out, we're missing something here.
This isn't just for East Biloxi, to all due respect. This is for all citizens of Biloxi. This is a major decision. We haven't raised taxes in 35 years or so.
Want to make sure that there's enough, not just to cover this shortfall here, but to also help to fund the development, future development of an area that's been neglected.
Right.
Well,
If we want to word it to have a special call meeting to give the mayor authority to advertise for a millage increase, we can call it that, and then we'll decide at tomorrow's meeting, I guess, that number. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, 11 a.m. tomorrow, is that good for everybody? Can they make it 11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
11 a.m., okay, the motion, I believe that was made by Mr. Tisdale.
Make the motion.
Second.
For the meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and the purpose would be to authorize the mayor to advertise for a possible millage increase. Would that be accurate, Peter?
Right. And an amount to be determined.
And an amount to be determined.
All right,
Second.
there's a second by Mr. Creel, discussion. There being none,
So on the discussion, we want to make sure we're not telling them, the meeting that we're asking for tomorrow, we're not setting an amount of the millage yet. We just,
we'll discuss that at tomorrow's meeting,
okay.
okay?
Oh, wait, also,
Go ahead, this is what this is for.
okay, also, will you be able to tell us for sure what the 10% is, how we are situated with that? Okay.
Okay, good, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hold on, Kenny.
What?
That's right.
Correct.
We still gotta go person by person?
Nope.
Okay.
Shoemaker's not scared.
All right, let's do it again so the clerk can get the show of hands. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chair entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. I have a second. Anybody have a second? We need one. Mr. Nail, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
You don't have to aye, just raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. I'm not-
Might as well lead us here.
All right, who's going home?
Gotta get home, it ain't like that, Mike.
Kerry?
Well, see, based on,
Thank you for
Absolutely.